Hi, welcome to another VITA learning video. I'm Jim McGuire, and today we're going to be using the Smart.Fire furnace and V-pad on how to add, change the color, or rename a firing program. In your original setup, you may have added some additional materials, and these materials have default names. But let's say that I want to add or change an additional tab firing program. I've created a new desktop. These are called desktops. And when you create a new screen or new desktop, you also defaults with a icon that says new firing program. I want to change the name, the background color, and possibly change the actual firing program itself. You can do this by touching onto the tab, releasing, and bringing out this panel here on the right hand side. This first tab is to rename it, recolor the background, add additional information, add a new firing program, copy a program, cut a program. Whenever you copy or cut a program, it will activate the paste button. And of course, you can trash any of the firing programs you want into the trash can. We're going to rename it. Touch on the top tab. We have new firing program as the name. I'm just going to make it so that it is called firing program. Now you can type in any name, description, person that you'd like in these two white tabs. You toggle in between by just touching it briefly. Once you're satisfied with the name, you go to the check mark. You've now changed the name. Let's say I want to change the background and the icon. As long as your tab is active, highlighted, I touch the palette. You now have all these various colors that you can change the background to. Let's say that I'm going to change it to a light green. Up in the upper left-hand corner, it will show you what the new icon, the tab will look like. And let's say that I want to change the actual icon to this. Once you're satisfied to whatever the tab should look like, you go to the next mark. And now you've successfully changed the name, changed the color, and edited the icon. So with this new firing program, if you touch on any of your tabs, you bring up the firing, what we call the firing schedule. It gives you the amount of time that that firing schedule is set to. And then below that is the start button, but also a tab with a magnifying glass. If you touch on the magnifying glass, it will bring up the actual firing schedule. So we want to change any of the parameters. We can do this by touching on the individual tab. So currently the pre-dry temperature is set at 480. Let's say that I want it at 500. I can eliminate what exists there and retype in 500. Again, any of the active tabs, by touching it, you'll activate it. It's now set for a pre-dry time of 2 minutes. I want to set it at, let's say, 4 minutes. So you remove what's there, you add in the 4 minutes. When it looks correct, you take the tick mark and then you move forward. This icon here is the level of the furnace muffle to open or close during the pre-dry cycle. Currently it's set at 2 minutes, 2 minutes. There's actually 3 different levels. I'm going to add another level. I'm going to add that as 1 minute. This side on the right-hand side is the percent that the muffle is closed. So on the top level, it's 62% closed. This one is 62, but I'm going to change that to 50. So 50. I'm going to change this one to maybe 25% closed. You'll notice here that above each white tab, there is a range, and that's the allowable range that you can change your program. Once you're satisfied with the level of muffle, You go to the next. This is a pre-vacuum tab. This allows you, if you have a vacuum pump attached, you can start the vacuum before the furnace closes completely. It's normally never used, so we're going to leave this alone. This is the tab for the firing temperature increase per minute. It's set at 60 degrees per minute. I'm going to change that. Let's say that is too quick or too slow. You can remove it. It has a range I can put in there anywhere from 2 degrees per minute to 120 degrees. I'm going to place 50 degrees. The automatic, the rising time, this is automatic. You don't have to fool with that. I'm going to click the next button. The vacuum, if your material requires a vacuum, you want to make sure that the time is set exactly for what's above that tab. In this case, 9 minutes. I want vacuum to start when it closes. So I am going to touch and place in there 9 minutes so that it corresponds with the rising time. And I'm going to start it at 500, which is the temperature that we close at. So now you can see that there's 9 minutes. It corresponds with the tab above, the firing time. And now you have the high temperature. The high temperature is set at 950. Let's say that is too high. We want to change it to 800. So just type in the high temperature. We want to hold it for 30 seconds. So if I activate that little tab and back it out, I can go 30. It's now 800 degrees as the high temperature, 30 seconds for a hold time. I'm satisfied with that. The next, and now you're dealing with the cool down. Some materials require a slow cool. If they do, you'll touch on this tab and you'll indicate what temperature do you want it to cool at before it opens up completely. So when you touch on that and you add a different number to it, you'll notice that the activate cool down tick mark is already checked. If it's not checked, you will not have a cool down. So we're going to place that at 500 degrees. So 500, we're going to go tick mark. So now you can see that the cool is set so that as it cools, when it reaches 500 degrees, that's when the muffle completely opens. Now, I want it so that during the cool down from the high temperature to the 500 degrees, I want the muffle to slightly open. You can move it from 0 to 100%. 100% is closed, 0% is completely open. I want it closed about 80%. That way it will provide a slow cool from 800 to 500 with just 20% of the muffle open. After you've changed your firing schedule, make sure that you click your save icon. So once it's saved, then you're set and it'll be there forever. So this is how you can change the firing program, the tab, and also the firing schedule. Thank you for joining us for this VITA learning video.